Hello, and today we're going to be looking at a scenario where civilization starts over. Let's get into it. This is season 2, episode 2 of the series, and we can get into it. First, I'd like to say we have a few new layers. One of these is power rankings. It's a pretty large one. Greece, which is the red country, the first country. This one is the strongest. Second is Bulgaria, the blue one. Third strongest is Slovenia, which is the yellow one. Fourth strongest is Athens, which is the dark red one. And the fifth strongest is the green country, North Anatolia. Yeah. Updated ideologies. And also some more layers. Provinces. I'll be updating these every episode. And also every other one of these new layers. And especially these layers. Technology map. How does this one work to be exact? So basically the darker blue this technology map is, or just the darker blue this color is, the more technologically advanced that country is. Like the red country is the most technologically advanced, and this country here is the least technologically advanced. So they have dark blue and light blue. And everything in between. These two have this pretty similar technologies. The yellow one is a bit stronger than less than these two. These two have pretty similar to blue or less than, well, yeah. Other layer, stability. So in this, the more red the country is, the more unstable it is. Like the Greek country is the most unstable country in the world. Well, the most stable countries are this Italian country and the green country. Some of the medium stability countries are like this country and the yellow country. And these two are also pretty similar in stability. Yeah. Let's get back on the regular map and start with the actual episode now. We're going to be starting today with the Italian country as they go ahead and continue to explore more and more around these areas. Eventually going ahead and fully attempting to go on the coastlines. As they go very far north and are going to be fully exploring many of these areas. As well, this is what they explore. They will also be claiming some of this land, obviously. They don't want to just take a bunch of land, explore a bunch of land and not take it. So they're going to take every part of this whole river and are going to actually claim a pretty large amount of territory. As they also go more down south and will be claiming many areas over here. Wait, do I have capitals later on? Yeah, I do. And, well, this country has become strong enough that it is able to get its own capital. And this capital is going to be in its only major city right here. Makes sense. The yellow country is going to be continuing to explore a lot more as they continue to explore mainly down these two rivers. They eventually meet this sort of delta here and agree to split up. And as these rivers will be continuing to be explored, and they eventually reach this three-way point and fully explore many areas over here as they're exploring a lot. They did fully explore these rivers, but they do explore a bit more around them to see if there's anything else, which they don't find anything else. Except these two areas here, and the yellow team will also be starting to explore more down into the Italian peninsula. They still haven't discovered the yellow team though, or the gold team. As the yellow team will continue their expansions across these rivers by sending a group up here, and another group up here, and another group in this direction. There'll be multiple groups, but they're going to send one down here. Until, well, they eventually reach the end and decide to go back. Yeah. Eventually, well, they're going to go back. With this group, they're going to continue moving across the rivers until they just continue. Yeah. Well, these guys are going to be continuing to explore and will explore and eventually find this river after a bit. And, well, they will just be exploring a lot, as the yellow team is exploring a pretty large chunk of Europe, and it's becoming one of the more powerful nations in the continent. Well, Europe is the only continent, the main continent at least. Well, yeah. these guys will also be going up here, as they will be just exploring. Yeah. These two areas do connect, and eventually all this area is explored. And now the yellow team is going to expand more. Before exploring a little bit more, before exploring a bit more. And then now they're going to start claiming more land, as the yellow team starts to go ahead and claim much of this land around these rivers. As they will fully claim all the regions around these two rivers, and even start to explore out a slight bit more, as they are becoming one of the most explorationist countries in the world. The yellow team is becoming a pretty big power over here, as many people are immigrating over into their nation in order to, do this. And, going over here, we can see that they will continue to explore down the Italian peninsula, and will be moving up here. Yeah. Going over here, we can see that the yellow team is going to be going down the Italian peninsula as well, as they also go ahead and expand into many of these areas across the rivers. And cool thing, I can update these maps. Wait, which one should I update? Stability. No, technology. Technology has changed, and the green country has become more technologically advanced, but the yellow country has become even more technologically advanced. That's pretty cool. And also with the stability map, we have to have the map. The yellow team has become even more stable than they already were. Yeah. Going down over here to Greece, we can see the Greeks do something. As the Greeks will be going up, which still makes more of the population mad, as they don't really like to explore. Yeah. The populace doesn't, but the government does, so they're forced to. And, the Red Greeks will be able to go ahead and eventually explore into these mountainous regions until they discover some yellow team land. And they make contact with the yellow team, and the red team finally realizes, hey, there's another power up here just sort of broke away from us. And the red team, when they hear this information about the yellow team existence, they are mad, understandably, as they would be going ahead and mass expanding into many of these mountainous regions. At least I think they're mountainous, as they go ahead and claim parts of this river and start to move up. The red team is going to then spend most of their explorationist force over into this region in order to claim as much of it as possible. So the yellow team can't get it, because they don't like the yellow team at all, and the relations between the yellow and red teams are already hostile. Yeah, but the red team, all they know about is the yellow team now, the blue team, and Athens. That's all. In going over to the blue team, after the red team claims more land, the blue team is going to also be exploring along to Europe, or the Balkans, as they specifically go along these coastlines and will be eventually finding this river. Eventually, they will be going up these coastlines and finding this pretty large river delta, as they, just like the yellow team, are going to work to explore many of these areas. A group is sent up here before they decide, hey, that's a little bit far. But the yellow team, they don't care how far they go, and this group is going to continue, as they do end when they get to the end of the rivers. So this group is going to continue. So is this blue team group. As the yellow and the blue teams meet up, and now all these nations here know about each other. The yellow and, red and blue teams all know about each other. Yeah. And the blue team will be continuing to mass explore into many of these areas. Eventually, all this area will be discovered, and the blue team is going to start claiming some land for themselves. The blue team is going to be claiming even more lands, specifically along the coastlines, hoping to reach this river. And the blue team is then just going to make a sort of colony over in this river area, as this blue team sort of colony-ish thing is sort of like, here, yeah. The blue team will also be continuing to explore even more across this river, with them now having a colony. They go across here and eventually discover another river as they start to explore both. Yeah. And blue team works to connect both of these colonies together. And also, they have an official, sort of thing in the government to, explore and expand a lot more. And this operation, to sort of claim a bunch of Europe that they've made, is sort of successful as they sort of get close to this river and even claim parts of it, as they claim more areas around it. And eventually will be claiming the entirety of the river, or at least this whole southern half. And the yellow team is mad about this because this, in their opinion, is their river, and they don't really want the blue team here. Going over to Anatolia, there's a lot to cover over here, as the blue team will be exploring more and more areas over here, hoping to see, hey, where's our exploration group? As they realize, finally, that the exploration groups to explore down here are gone. And they don't really know what to do. Well, all the blue team knows about exactly, as of now, is all of this territory, is what they know about. So, well, they don't know about this up here. I guess they kind of do, but they don't know the exact borders. But what I'm saying is the blue team doesn't know about the orange team stuff or the green team stuff. So these blue team explorers will be continuing to explore until they eventually discover the green team. And they very much dislike the green team, so they're going to be going over here, eventually reaching these areas. And the green team realizes, hey, our old nation that ruled us, which we very much dislike, especially now, has decided to come over here. So the green team is going to work to explore a bit more and claim a lot more lands. Well, the green team is the 5th strongest country in the world, so they are able to claim lands. But the green team is going to be deciding to go ahead and claim this entire river for themselves, as eventually they go ahead and claim this whole area as a whole. Yeah. And they will be continuing to explore, mainly across these Anatolian regions. Oh wait, that's where they are, so they can't really explore anywhere else, but will expand. Yeah. But the green team will also be claiming many areas over here, like this. Like that. But the green team will also be going ahead and exploring or expanding even more, and will eventually be claiming all of these lands, as the blue team will also be going ahead and claiming more lands, eventually meeting up with the green team. The blue team doesn't like this, but what can they really do? But the blue team is going to be exploring more over here, or expanding. And the red team is finally going to discover more of these islands and start to claim them. Yeah. This island is discovered, and many of these other Greek islands are discovered, as, well, they just kind of look a bit ugly on the map. But the orange team does discover and claim this island, and the red Greeks is claiming this one. Yeah. These two are, in fact, discovered and even claimed by these respective nations here. Yeah. The Greeks have really made sort of navy in order to defend against, well, wait, what do they defend against? Athens? Yeah, maybe. The orange team is going to continue to mass explore many of these lands here until they eventually make contact with the blue team. And just like the blue team's relations with the green team, they don't like them. So the Anatolians, or the orange team, is going to be going ahead and claiming a whole bunch of this land in order to try and stop the blue team's expansion. They don't really like what's going on. Yeah. And while this is a pretty big expand for one episode, but the orange team will eventually be continuing to explore over here. Eventually, all these groups are going to be able to explore the whole main Anatolian region, as all this area over here is explored. And the orange team will be working hard at claiming more and more of these territories, so that, well, the blue team can't, because they don't like the blue team. And what they're going to do is claim this huge chunk of Anatolia. But the blue team is going to be claiming it more, as they are going to be eventually agreeing on a border with the orange team and the green team, and basically they just meet up with the lines. This is where borders meet in Anatolia, and this island is going to be claimed by the blue team. And I think it's now about time to make more major cities on this map. More major cities will be established by other nations, like a few dotted around over here in Anatolia. As well, Anatolia is becoming a pretty large region, and also huge major cities established over here in these river deltas. Yeah, going back to Italy, we can see that the Golden Italians are going to be claiming or exploring more and more territory as they mainly go down south, exploring all of this. Eventually, the Golden Italians will be going more north and deciding, well, we should probably expand more and maybe try to defend against the Yellow Team. They know about the Yellow Team, but they don't know how powerful they are, so they are going to claim as much territory as they humanly can in order to just defend against what they believe is a strong Yellow Team. Yeah. And they would be quickly able to go ahead and claim many areas of southern Italy. As they eventually go down and explore all the way down to this part of the Italian peninsula. And well, this is pretty cool. They've explored all this. But the Yellow Team has just discovered this nation. That's bad. But what'll be happening is, well, all this will be happening. The Yellow Team, knowing that the Gold Team exists now, is outraged, and they are going to be making surprisingly a lot larger of a military. And nobody really knows why, but maybe for some reasons that maybe they don't like the Gold Team. Makes sense. But all these groups will eventually be able to explore all of this area in Central Europe. Yeah. And the Yellow Team will be claiming a lot more territory. As they go crazy at claiming a bunch of European territories, going ahead and claiming many of these Balkan regions. Eventually, the borders will look something like this. And the world map in Europe has gotten a lot bigger. Yeah. But going over to Mesopotamia, something big happens. A new group pops up. This group is going to expand or explore mainly around these river delta areas. And they are going to be very quickly exploring more and more until they eventually decide to form a nation. Mesopotamia is now independent. Civilization is in Mesopotamia. As this Mesopotamian civilization is going to be exploring many areas around the Euphrates River and I forgot the name of this other river, but yeah. They will be going ahead and exploring many of these areas all the way down this river and eventually going ahead and meeting up with the Persian Gulf coastline. And Mesopotamia will be continuing to expand even more as well. This has been happening throughout all of this happening, but they are also able to establish their own major city. Their major city is going to be right here, and the capital is also going to be in the exact same location. That makes sense. And now the world has just gotten a whole new area. But these Mesopotamian peoples will be continuing to explore up these rivers as they go ahead and eventually will be just going crazy. They don't really have any issues. This is very fertile farmland over here in Mesopotamia. In Europe, the Europeans don't know about this. And these groups are eventually going to go ahead and get close to meeting up. As the Orange Team will be continuing to explore, and eventually the Green Team explores and finds this river and explores this whole part of it. As the Green Team will also be going up and claiming or exploring all these areas, and then eventually claiming them. Like this. The Green Team claims all these areas and these parts of the river, as they want to become more powerful. Makes sense. This is ancient times. You need to be powerful to survive. Yeah. But, well, eventually, these two groups explore the river, and the Mesopotamians and, well, the Green Team meet up. And the Orange Team continues, and, well, all these areas will be meeting up and clashing together, and, well, the hostile relations are already here, and a new nation forms. This is going to be the dark blue nation over here. This nation is sort of a mix between Green Team and Mesopotamian peoples. This group believes in uniting the world under all these ethnicities. And they basically break away because of all the clashing that's been happening. And this group is large, and it will be expanding a lot and claiming many of these areas. But then, going over to here to France, something else happens. People also pop up here in France. These people are going to, just like Mesopotamia, explore these rivers and eventually will be forming their own civilization and eventually, make sure it's the right layer, will be making their own major city, which is going to be right here, and the capital is right here, as this nation is also going to be exploring greatly around these French areas. But they have a little bit more issues than Mesopotamia, as Mesopotamia has a lot of fertile farmland. But this nation is not going to stop growing as it continues to explore around these rivers and eventually becomes a pretty decent sized nation. But to end off the video, we can see the yellow team continue to explore across these rivers and claim a bit more land over north. They claim parts of this river and, well, yeah. They eventually will be claiming all these parts of the river and, well, yeah. This is what the video is going to end like. And that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of What If Civilization Started Over. See you in the next episode, and bye!